Kim Bora not debuting in Kep1er is my villain origin story. I want revenge.
I'm saying I don't wanna come down from your love. We'll get lost together, let me find. Don't ever let me come down from your love. From your love, from your love.
Hey guys, it's Bree here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another and probably final Girls Planet 999 video. I can't believe we've reached the end of this survival show. So thanks so much to all of you who have kind of followed me through this journey, this crazy, chaotic journey that is Girls Planet 999. Thank you for joining me and watching my videos, leaving comments. I totally appreciate all of you who I've engaged with throughout this process. Today I'm going to be talking about the finale, about the final lineup, and just my final thoughts on the show as a whole. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So first, I want to talk about the final lineup, the girls who are officially debuting in the group, which is called Kep1er. Now, for those of you that don't know, the name Kep1er came from Johannes Kepler. He's basically the dude who came up with the whole planetary motion concept. So it totally makes sense that Mnet decided to go with the name Kep1er, being that throughout the entire Girls Planet show, we've had a lot of references and imagery and themes related to the solar system, the planetary system, and planets. So I thought it was a pretty cute name. So now let's talk about the final lineup and kind of compare it to the interim results that came out earlier this week. So Kim Chae-hyun came in first place for the final lineup, so her ranking did not change at all from the interim results that we saw earlier. Next we have Hyuning Bahie in second place. So Hyuning Bahie actually jumped up 3 spots from 5th to 2nd place since the interim results. So that means her fans went even harder between Monday, I believe, when we got the interim results, and today. In 3rd place we have Choi Yoo-jin, who actually dropped from 2nd to 3rd place. In 4th place we have Kim Da-yeon, who dropped from 3rd place to 4th place. In 5th place we have So Young-gun, who dropped from 4th to 5th. 6th we have Kang Ye-so, who kept her 6th place ranking. In 7th place we have Ezaki Hikaru, who jumped 5 ranks from 12th to 7th place. In 8th place we have Sakamoto Mashiro, who jumped 6 spots from 14th to 8th place. And lastly, in 9th place we had Shen Zhaoting, who jumped from 16th to 9th place. That's 7 spots, so her fans were not playing games. We can see that. I kind of laughed to myself when I saw the final lineup, because I'm sure a lot of you guys might know the YouTuber Everglow Up. I watch her videos all the time. I love her channel. She actually commented on my video that I released earlier this week, and she basically said that releasing the interim results was very calculated on Mnet's part. It was kind of their way of saying, hey, look, this is what's going on with the voting system right now, so if you guys want to make some changes and maybe correct this lineup, here are the results so far and do what you need to do. And I think that the differences between the interim results to the final results are a clear indicator of that. This was definitely Mnet's way to get people to vote, almost like a scare tactic, because we've seen there have been a lot of changes between the interim results and the final ranking results. Just to give you a little bit more perspective, Kim Soo-yeon, Gwen Maya, and Suri Chi were all dropped from the top 9 and replaced by Ezaki, Xiaoting, and Mashiro. So this means that Ezaki fans, Xiaoting, and Mashiro fans all saw the interim results and were like, hey, we gotta vote even harder because we do not want these girls to not make the final lineup. And unfortunately, because of that, like I said, Kim Soo-yeon, Gwen Maya, and Suri Chi unfortunately didn't make it. So now I kind of just want to give you guys my opinion on the final rankings. So first of all, you guys know I was rooting for Kim Bora so hard. I was like watching this live with my Discord members. I actually only caught the last hour or hour and a half of the show, but I was like, okay guys, we got to do a prayer circle. Like what demons of old do I need to summon for Kim Bora to make this group and debut in Kep1er? I was going through it, y'all, and so were a lot of my Discord members. We were just like, please let Kim Bora debut. But Kim Bora did not debut, I fear. She did not make the top 9. She did not debut in Kep1er. Now, the reason why I was rooting for Kimbora so hard, even though throughout the competition she wasn't really at the top. To me, her voice spoke for itself. She had an amazing voice. I also thought that she showed great leadership to some of the other trainees. I really liked her personality. To me, she is the best vocalist that we've seen in the competition. My other favorite vocalists were Hyerim from Lime Soda, and I also really enjoyed Urena, who also didn't make it. What the heck happened? I was shocked by that. Remember, Urena was ranked number 1, I think at least once, if not more than that, and at one point I think she was number 2. So Urena did pretty well in the competition as well. I loved her voice as well. I thought she was another strong vocalist. So immediately when I looked at these results, I was like, okay, none of my favorite vocalists made the final lineup, especially Kimbora. Kimbora was like all I was asking for. I was like, please Mnet, give us a Planet Pass or something. So yes, I was definitely upset by the fact that Kimbora didn't make it, but you know, for all of you that were also rooting for Kimbora, let's just root for her in her group Cherry Bullet and hope for the best. Hope that maybe the show brought Cherry Bullet some more fans and maybe more opportunities will open up for them as a group and for Kimbora as an individual. So next, I really want to talk about Bahie, because this is something that's really been bothering me for quite a while. Like I mentioned before, in the interim results, Bahie ranked at number 5, and she jumped up from 5 to 2nd place in the final voting results, the last round of voting. As you guys know, if you've watched this show, Bahie has done pretty well consistently. She has a huge fan base. A lot of people argue that she's only popular because her brother is Huening Kai from TXT. So people claim that she has a lot of MOAs who are supporting her and voting for her, you know, throughout the competition. There's also the fact that Mnet has really given her pretty much minimal screen time throughout the show, but despite that, she's still ranked consistently pretty well because of her fan base. So I've seen a lot of people say things like, you know, Huening Bahie doesn't deserve to debut, she's not polished enough, she's not ready to debut, she still has a lot to learn. If that is what you think objectively about Huening Bahie, if that's your opinion, that's fine and you're entitled to that, but what I do want to address is some of the hate. I was watching some of the show live this morning. I actually saw people paying for super chats on YouTube. So if you guys don't know, you can pay to send a super chat to a YouTube channel, and basically what that means is your message will pop up on the top of the screen and it'll be seen by everybody, but you have to pay in order to submit a super chat. People were paying the Mnet YouTube channel during the live stream to leave hate comments about Bahie. I specifically remember one that said something like, now that Bahie is debuting, this group is gonna be trash. Like, this person actually paid to make this comment. And besides that, throughout this competition, I've seen so many people hating on Bahie. And to be honest with you guys, I think it's really disgusting. First of all, she's only 17 years old, so people are literally on the internet bullying a minor. Second of all, she's Huening Kai's sister, so maybe because of that you might think some nepotism is at play, or maybe because of that you might think that she has an unfair advantage when compared to some of the other contestants who don't have a famous sibling in the industry or who aren't known already, specifically maybe some of the other trainees. But you also have to remember that some of the people participating in this competition are already debuted idols, such as Kimbora and Choi Yoo-jin, just for an example. So you could easily say, well, it's also unfair that you have already debuted idols because they already have an established fan base that are voting for them too. They're already known in the industry. People already respect them. So I really think it's not fair and kind of a double standard to single her out like that. And yes, like I said, maybe you can argue if in your opinion you think that she isn't as polished or isn't as skilled as some of the other contestants. But I also think that Bahie has kind of shown the ability to excel and improve throughout the competition. I think she's done that pretty well, and I think that now that she is confirmed to be in the final lineup, she'll be able to grow as an artist even more now that she's in the group. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the people hating on her need to leave her alone, and I know because now she's in the final lineup, her haters are probably going to hate even more. But to those of you that are hating on her, I would say, first of all, it's stupid because you're literally hating on her for something that she cannot control. She cannot control that her brother is Huening Kai. She cannot control that Mnet decided to give her minimal screen time, and maybe because of that, you haven't really gotten a feel for who she is as a person, etc. And she also cannot control that she has a huge fan base that are so fully dedicated to voting for her. None of that is her fault. And I'm sure that she feels bad knowing that some some people are continuously saying things about her online and saying she doesn't deserve to debut. So my thing is this: if you're not a fan of Bahia, that's fine, but sending hate is stupid. It's not productive, and by sending hate, you're also hurting the group as a whole. I'm sure the other members don't want people randomly sending hate to one of their fellow group members, so I would just say keep that in mind. If you don't like Bahia, that's fine, but don't leave her hate comments. Just grow up. Alright, so next I want to talk about Suri Chi not making it in the final lineup, because that's probably what shocked me the most. Now, if you remember, Suri Chi was in 9th place during the interim results, and she actually dropped out of the top 9 once the final lineup was revealed. So I was really shocked by that, because to me, Suri Chi was kind of like an all-rounder. She was a great dancer, good center, she had good vocals, and to me, her stage presence was just unmatched. She really stuck out to me during the EXO The Eve performance specifically, and she'd always been one of my favorites. So I was really disappointed that she didn't make it. I was very saddened by that, but she's already a solo artist in China from what I understand, and I'm hoping that maybe she'll get more exposure. I've also heard things that apparently in the past she's said some anti-Korean things online, so maybe Koreans dug that up and really didn't want to vote for her. I'm really not sure, but yeah, her not making the final lineup definitely threw me for a loop. I was definitely shocked by that. So now I just want to talk about the final episode as a whole, what I think about the voting system, and just about the show as a whole. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Girls Planet 999, or Mnet, marketed Girls Planet 999 as a show that would pretty much give us a global girl group at the end of the show. For a while, a lot of us were kind of misled into thinking that there would be 3 Korean contestants, 3 Chinese contestants, and 3 Japanese contestants that would debut and make it in the final selection for the girl group. And as we can see, that did not happen. In the beginning of the series, we had this cell concept where we had a Korean, Japanese, and Chinese member in each cell, and they had to fight to survive together. Then the cell concept was eliminated, and we had the girls fighting to survive on their own, where the bottom girls from each planet would be eliminated. So voters still had to pick a Chinese, Korean, and Japanese contestant. Finally, at the end, we switched to a voting system where you could only vote for one person at a time. Now, to be honest with you guys, I think that this was really messed up on Mnet's part, because now we've gotten to the point where we have the final lineup, and in this lineup, we only have 3 foreign members and 6 Korean members, 2 being Japanese and 1 being Chinese. To me, that's not a global girl group. That would be like a typical K-pop girl group where there are majority Korean members with a few foreign members. To me, that's misleading. Now, maybe you could argue that Bahie is considered a foreign member because from what I understand, she wasn't born in Korea. But still, you guys know what I'm saying, right? We had 33 Korean contestants, 33 Japanese contestants, and 33 Chinese contestants. Out of the 66 Chinese and Japanese contestants, we have 2 Japanese contestants that made it and 1 Chinese contestant that made it. 6 of the other contestants that made it in this final group are Korean. So to me, that's not a global group. In my opinion, this was almost like false advertisement by Mnet. If they really wanted this to be a global group, they should have somehow made the voting system so that the final lineup would be guaranteed to have 3 Korean girls, 3 Japanese girls, and 3 Chinese girls in the final lineup. I specifically feel bad for all the Chinese contestants that worked so hard, only to see that only 1 of them made it in the final lineup, and barely made it, by the way. The only reason why Shen Zhaoting made it in the final lineup was because Mnet released those interim results. If Mnet hadn't released those interim results, I doubt that Shen Zhaoting would have jumped from 16th to 9th place, just barely making it into the final lineup so she could debut. And to me, that's messed up. Mnet should have either stuck with the cell system, or they should have at least made it so you had to vote for a girl from each planet or country and made sure that the final lineup would have had 3 girls from each planet. To me, that would be a global group because you have equal representation from each planet or country. I also think that we should probably talk about the way that voting works. Now, there are a lot less viewers in Korea compared to the international viewers from all around the world from different countries outside of Korea. But Even though there are less Korean viewers and voters, the Korean votes are weighed the same as all the other international votes. So basically, even though there are less Koreans, their votes are just as powerful as the international votes. So I think that that's very telling when it comes to voting. Basically, Koreans have a lot of power, and I would be interested to see how the results would have been different if Korean votes weren't weighed as heavily as international votes. I wonder how the lineup would have been different. Let me know what you guys think, because I've been thinking about that a lot. So I guess that's it when it comes to my thoughts about the final lineup. I'm really interested to see what Kep1er will do in the future, what type of songs they'll release, what type of concepts they'll go for. Will they go for an IZ*ONE concept? I'm really looking forward to see what type of content they will release as far as songs. Even though all of my top picks did not make it, I'm super excited that Yujin made it, as well as Zaki Hikaru. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the final lineup? What do you think about the show Girls Planet 999 as a whole? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Is there anything that you would have changed? If you could have picked the final lineup, who would have been your top 9 to debut in Girls Planet 999? What do you think about Mnet releasing the interim results? Do you think that it was calculated? Do you think that it was a way for Mnet to try to clean up the voting and the final lineup? Let me know in the comments. Really quickly, I also want to say thank you again so much to everyone who has watched my Girls Planet 999 videos. I think a lot of you actually found me through my Girls Planet 999 videos and have subscribed to my channel because of that. So thanks so much for deciding to join and subscribe to my channel. I hope that you'll stick around and check out my other K-pop content as well. I also have a playlist with all of my breakdowns of the Mnet Kingdom Legendary War episodes, so feel free to check that out. Also, make sure to join my Discord server if you haven't already. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'm actually having a live discussion of Girls Planet 999, specifically the final episode. So if you want to join in on that, make sure to join my Discord server. The link will be in the pinned comment. Thanks so much for watching once again. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!